Once again, this is Seewing Yee from the Yee Real Estate Network, your government veteran administration foreclosure expert. So, without further ado, let me present this another one of my great government via foreclosure. All right, so this one's in El Paso, Texas. Okay, El Paso is right next to U.S. Army base Fort Bliss, Texas. All right, let me give you a quick overview of the Zillow map. And this property is located on this black dot, as you can see, and hopefully, and the U.S. Army post Fort Bliss is right here, right? Maybe around 5 to 7 miles away. So Fort Bliss is a huge military base, and El Paso itself is a very fast growing city in the westernmost of Texas, bordering New Mexico, very close by. All right, so El Paso, once again, close to the Mexican border and have a lot of economic trade impact with Mexico as well. So a lot of people moving from Mexico to El Paso to live and work. So the population growth is quite significant. But other than that, I mean, the reason why I'm promoting via foreclosures in El Paso is mainly because of Fort Bliss, which Fort Bliss is an army post that's been around for decades and it can be around forever to come. And this market I have selected on a personal basis because of my vast expertise and experience associated with the military real estate markets, and El Paso is no different. So, yeah, so now you know, right? Fort Bliss is right here, and then so very close proximity to the post. So the expectation, anything for future reference, if I promote anything in El Paso for government via foreclosures, you will know that approximately maybe 75% of your potential tenant or active duty soldiers who are a sergeant E6, E5, with maybe a minimum of 4 years of service can qualify to have a tax-free housing allowance above and beyond their base pay to pay your rent. So it's a government paycheck, okay, government guarantee rent, all right? He's not Section 8. He's even better than Section 8 because active duty renters, military, they make the best tenants among, comparatively speaking. And furthermore, E5, E6, or E7 with anywhere from 4 to 10 years of service, they are giving the monthly tax-free housing allowance to live off post because on base there's never enough on post housing. So mostly, junior enlisted soldiers, even some officers, who with 2 or 4 years experience, second lieutenant or first lieutenant in the army, or even a captain, 01, 02, 03, they have, a little bit more monthly tax-free allowance, housing allowance, like 1,400. But if you can rent to a officer or senior enlisted E7 or E8 with 15 to 20 years of experience, they have more housing allowance to pay you, but they will most likely can move it to a higher price home. So the cookie cutter home I'm presenting to you is this one, right? So it's listed, it's a via foreclosure listed 105,000, 4 bedroom and 2 bath at 1,334 square foot. It just came on the VA listing 3 days ago. So as all my foreclosure property that I'm presenting, these homes they go quick. Okay, I'm not kidding you. So the minute they'll come on the listing, within 7 days or less, you will receive multiple offers. What I mean by multiple offers, some depending on each property, what market I'm recommending. Some are like you have 2 or 3 other competitors competing against this home, so you have to submit your bid accordingly. These kind of properties via foreclosures are also on the multiple listing service. in those locale. But some more desirable property in other market via foreclosures in Florida specifically, sometimes you get 30 to 40 offers. But in this case, El Paso, we expect 2 or 3 offers. So you gotta have urgency, right? So for those of you who have the motivation and the commitment to work with me, pay my extra fee per property, we work together. Then you have to get vendor financing, get your loan pre-approved with the 5% down for investors. You have to do it very, very quick. You have to make very, very quick decisions because everything is real time. Because these kind of properties, even this one, are very desirable. The demands for buying this property and renting this property is very, very high, and the supply of inventory is very, very low, even in the El Paso, Texas market. So, okay, that's my high level review. And of course, so this property is, very new, built in 2015. So, I mean, almost like brand new, right? You're gonna buy a very high quality property. Let's briefly go over the exterior and the interior. Looks very, very nice. Nice landscape front side. Inside is luckily is no rug. So tile wood. So this is the living room, quite spacious, obviously. So nice cookie cutter home, very, very rentable, quick rental from a historical basis. So the expectation is the vacancy factor over time will be very, very low because you have military people moving back and forth. They do a PCS, permanent change of station, quite often. So many, many soldiers. Fort Bliss have, I don't know, maybe 20,000 soldiers and 30,000 dependents accompany them. For those who are married, and there are a lot of civilian workers work for the federal government. They work on base, so there are thousands and thousands of people need a place to rent. They want to rent close to Fort Bliss, and they're very good quality renters for obvious reasons. The military active duty people. Okay, let's continue. Nice, everything's nice upgrade, very clean, very modern. The things inside, the refrigerator, everything else, very nice. They really did a good job of cleaning up everything. Electrical systems all good to go. Spacious living room, bright, sun shining in. Everything looks turnkey. So I know any kind of cosmetic repair will come out of your pocket. So we have to make that determination. If your offer get accepted, we get an inspection report. Then we hire a local team of contractors. There are plenty of them here. There's excellent property management. There are several property management companies that are specializing military rentals for many years. And so you have to assume that the property management is going to be very decent for you long-term for passive investors. For those of us mainly come from California. All right, so the hallway looks nice, very clean. The walls are very well done, nothing outrageous color that can justify painting it over, right? So double vanity, that's great. Nice bathroom, shower. Yeah, everything looks good, high quality, safe, clean, everything. All right, so I think there's even a 2-car garage. Backyard, not very big, but is functional. Okay, yeah, a nice cookie cutter home that many military people would love to rent from you. And they, if a married soldier with dependents, they typically stay at least 3 years. So if nothing bad happened to the soldier, you expect to have the same tenant for 3 years. If a single soldier or renting from you, they usually have a 2-year tour to come to this base. Some of them, they can extend their tour longer. So sometimes you get lucky and the tenants stay beyond 2 or 3 years if they like the area very much. Okay, so let's look at the rental comps associated with this property in this location. What I expanded my search with 3-mile radius, 3 bedrooms on this property, as mentioned, 14032 Tierra Leona Drive in here in El Paso. So let's look at the The square footage of the home, which is 1,300 square foot. So what I see, the comparable rent, a smaller house is rented for 1,100 close by, half mile away. And then let me find something comparable. This one's square footage wise is comparable, but 1,100 almost. This one, almost the same size as the subject property, is being rented for 1,160. So I took the liberty of, so anyway, what we see here is that a total of 113 homes in a 3-mile radius, 3 bedrooms are being rented. So what does it tell me? And what does it tell you as a potential investor? That this neighborhood has been achieving consistent rentals. There are many renters. So, for me, because I'm 20 years U.S. Army retired, I know what I'm talking about. So when I see these metrics, when I see more than 100 homes in a 3-mile radius being rented, that tells me there's a lot of renters that are rented in this area, because in this particular situation is very close to this huge Army base, Fort Bliss, Texas. All right. So and when I say finally, what I mean is we're going to show the cash flow analysis on this subject property, and just to justify my recommendation, if you will. So this property, and like I said, cookie cutter, very rentable for active duty soldier. I mean, it could, you could rent to a civilian. People can pay you, $1,100, $1,200 to rent this nice cookie cutter home. Okay, very. So anyway, 105,000 is, is very a good bargain. You're not going to find $100,000 property anywhere in a country where it has an excellent rental market, growing city, El Paso, and then consistent active duty rentals. Okay, so and great turnkey property management. So 5% down isn't amazing. Having the ability to get 5% down financing for investors instead of 25%. So you're leveraging your money, right? He's using OPM, other people's money, using a lender to finance 95% of your purchase. You cannot get that with the stock market, clearly. So 105,000 multiplied by 5% down, your down payment is a mere 5,200, which is mind-boggling value. And then you put the closing costs around 3 grand. The rehab costs, I don't think it's 5,000. I mean, I'm overestimating the out-of-pocket rehab costs for you, but I rather overestimate than underestimate 5 grand. But if it's less than 5 grand, then your initial cash invested obviously would be a lot less than 14 grand. Imagine having out-of-pocket total for you, 12 to 14 grand. You can buy a nice income-producing asset, long-term buy and hold for a mere 100 grand in a fast-growing market, in an excellent rental market. So 1,100 projected rent minus 5% vacancy rate equals operating income minus the monthly taxes. The monthly tax is $183, which is less than 2% in Texas. I know property tax is high in Texas, but it's okay. Insurance $37, 10% management fee, $105 monthly, 5% maintenance costs take it out from the rent. That's our number expectation. So in terms of financial indicators, which is very important, we meet the 1% rule. 1% multiplied by the purchase price should be the monthly gross rent, and you should achieve positive cash flow based on this numeric metric that I've been teaching my members, right? Rent to value ratio of 1% or slightly less than 1%. Capitalization rate 7.6%, above the metric for cap rates on historical basis. Cash on cash return of 15%. Anytime the cash on cash return is higher than double digit, higher than 10%, you got yourself a very, very good deal. Okay, and then of course total return on investment is 41%, because you add the annual net cash flow plus the principal reduction plus the 2% annual appreciation projection, 2,100 annually. So equal gross equity income, paper ROI, right? On paper, since you're not selling the property, I hope not. Almost 6,000, and your down payment is only 14 grand. So 5,800 divided by 14 grand equals around 40% return on your total investment on this purchase. Mind-boggling. So your net monthly cash flow is $175. If there are no vacancies, if there are no maintenance costs, then you can add on the $55 of monthly vacancy, right? Then you add on $65. So you can add on another at least $110 into this net cash flow if you want to do that. So that'll give you almost $300 of monthly net cash flow if you get lucky, you have no maintenance issues any given time and no vacancies, right? So, but this is a very conservative net cash flow, but the numeric metric really makes sense overall. All right, so that's all I have to say. This is a nice cookie cutter home that'll bode you well. One of your long-term buy and hold portfolio. Let the renter, let the government pay the rent for you. Guarantee rent as long as the soldiers are well behaved. Okay, that's a big if. Most of the time they are well behaved, and they will conclude their contractual obligation in terms of how many years they sign up for the military. Okay, so that's all I have to say. So nothing to it, right? Very low risk, high reward, good cash flow, long term. Buy multiple via foreclosures in various markets that I've been promoting. And at the end of 10, 15 years, you have 10, 15, 20 VA foreclosures in the best areas of the country and a very, very little down payment. So great value, great portfolio accumulation. Top secret, best kept secret government VA foreclosures. Okay, I'm the one of the few VA foreclosure expert in the country that have this unique ability to promote this kind of system because of my vast background and experience. Thank you so much. This is Seewing Yee with the Yee Wilson Network. Look forward to talking to you. Have a nice day. Goodbye.